I just came out to take a break from the movie, check out the view, and man, there's something quite amazing about just being out alone. The other boats are motoring. I hope I don't really regret it, but come on, it's like, why motor when you can just sail? I'm going 5 knots. Those other guys are trying to keep a 6-knot average, but for 1 knot, I just don't think it's worth it. After motoring all throughout the night, I had left the sails up and woke up to these lovely conditions. Going at 7 knots, heading south. All the other boats have made me a little anxious. They all suggested that I motor, and I motor fast because of the gales coming in right about when we're gonna arrive. So the idea is to get in there. I hate motoring, but like I said earlier, if it prevents me from getting in the middle of gales, gale force winds at least, I'll do it. It's gonna be light again, and then it's gonna be way more wind than I ever thought I would get. Oh, look at that. The sun is rising right now. I'm gonna turn around and enjoy this. As expected, the conditions have built up a bit. We're moving very fast, between 6.5 and 7.5 knots. But it's a bumpy ride. It's not terrible, especially since it's coming from behind. This I'm used to. This is what the Pacific crossing was like. We can handle this for 3 weeks. So a couple days of this isn't so bad. Definitely beats having this off the bow. But that's where it's turning around too. So by tomorrow, I might be facing this instead of running down it. Going about 7 knots. Been texting one of the boats on the sat phone. They're telling me to go southwest as much as possible. And initially I said, yeah, right. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go with these waves abeam when I could have them right behind me. But on second thought, he is right. If the alternative is to beat up wind when the gale comes, or just go too far east of New Zealand, and who knows where I'll end up. Oh boy, everything's starting to fall over inside the boat. I'm a little distracted. I'm just looking at the things falling around, planking and stuff. So far it's not too much of a disaster. I'm out of radio contact with all of the boats now. I just tried putting out a call and seeing who would respond. One boat responded, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. So I'm kind of on my own. Good thing I got the sat phone. And well, there is some strategy behind this for sure. Deciding which way to go, 10 degrees to the left, 10 degrees to the right. Am I gonna get there sooner? Am I gonna get there later? Is it gonna be more comfortable? So I'm sitting here, I hate to say it, but refreshing the grid files every couple of hours. I like to just kind of go with the flow of things, but I also like to be prepared. I am a little bit more scared than usual, especially since I am by myself. So I'm just trying to be safe out here. That last video I just recorded, maybe 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden I saw, oh look, looks like rain, and definitely going through a squall here. I just reefed as much as I could really quickly. I got inside, I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I'm gonna go sheet into the sail. Wish you could see the action a little bit better, but I'm just here with my phone. Yeah, I just noticed a couple waves were bigger than the others coming. So that's when I said, oh boy, gotta look up. And said, if these waves are bigger, what's causing it? Where's it coming from? So that's when I looked up, saw the rain, and then the squall just hit. Like it came so fast. so fast, pretty wild. Whoa. I think it's time for another reef. I made myself comfortable. I got a couple cushions here. I am hidden by the Dodger, nice and dry, and just jamming out some music, enjoying the view, and just checking out the power of the ocean, seeing how it goes from fairly flat seas to this. And yeah, it looks like I'm going to see a gale before I pull into New Zealand. Right now I'm at the top of the roller coaster. I got a feeling I'm going to be at the bottom. But for now, I'm enjoying this. I got nothing better to do than just to sit here and just watch. I'll be miserable soon enough, but for now, this is great. I love it. Starting to look ugly again. That used to look like. That's what's coming. Don't like the look of those clouds. Could use some fresh rain to wash the salt off, but there's a lot of waves coming. This looks like another squall. Some very interesting looking clouds and a lot of rain coming with it. And probably a whole lot of wind. Kind of like that a little better. Some blue skies. It's starting to get a little gnarly. There we go. Oh, there it is. The whole boat starts to shake. It's coming. Second squall for the day. Might notice I'm tethered in. Got my life jacket on. Don't know what's the point, because if I were to fall overboard, I don't really know what a life jacket would do, but I guess I would float for a little longer. But the jack line keeps me from falling in the water in the first place, and basically just snapped in. Not that that's my intention, but I was told that's what I'm supposed to do, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll be miserable soon enough, but for now, this is great. I love it. Again, it's definitely scarier being out here by myself. It's kind of chaotic. You might notice the sails are on the opposite tack. The wind's just doing a full circle right now. I've got the engine running. I just don't want to lose steerage of the boat. It's not really deciding where it wants to come from. Not yet, at least. Yeah, it just rotated like 90 degrees. And it keeps on going back and forth. So that's normal after a squall. That's why they come through. It's a new front. I was told in the Bob McDevitt email, no dilly-dallying. His words, not mine. So I'm gonna make sure this boat keeps on moving. I'm not so worried about this. I'm just worried about what's to come. Yeah, look, I can barely fight this current. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna focus on this. Okay, I got my bearings straight for now, at least. This is interesting. It went from, oh no. I'm gonna deal with this first. That sucks. Okay, fortunately that wasn't anything major. Just a pin missing there. Scared me at first. Anyways, went from pretty much directly downwind to directly from the bow, headwinds. So 180-degree change in direction. Probably been about a half an hour since the last squall, and the temperature just tanked. It just dropped, which is usually a sign of another squall. And sure enough, you know, I've been in that kind of sunshine, cloudiness, and now I got another squall coming. I've been facing like a 2 to 3 knot current, and it's been making things complicated because I can't go the direction that I want. If I go west, the bow is slamming into the waves so much that it almost stops the boat, even with the engine running. I've got the engine running right now. And if I go south, I'm pointing straight into the wind, so I've got to go southeast, which kind of sucks because it kind of defeats the purpose of all the westing that I did. This is where it would be nice to see on AIS what the other boats are doing, what's working for who, but I don't even have VHF reception with anybody. I just noticed some equipment failure on the mainsail right there. That slid down to there. So I'm texting this other boat, asking him if he's seeing a strong current, because I can't go more than 3 knots going west. And southeast, I'm going about 4 knots. I should be going 6 or 7 knots either direction. But I can't. It's the current is really strong. And look at the kind of response I get. Like, oh, we're dealing with the same. Gives me the shits well and truly. Like, that's not what I want to hear. Going tip of New Zealand, they're 2 gales. They're like 30 knot winds, 4 meter seas when we would arrive. And it sucks because just the lack of information. All right, I'm feeling much better now. I just talked to another boat that's 12 miles southwest of me. I was able to talk to him clearly on the VHF. We confirmed our position, so that's really nice. It's reassuring to have someone that I trust. Within 12 miles, he's got a high frequency radio, so that also helps. He's going to get the Gulf Harbor radio report in the morning. And he's dealing with the same currents and everything. You just never know. I'm just wondering if I'm doing something wrong. Like, you never know. I guess everybody's kind of shitting their pants right now. So, with that said, I'm gonna head west. I think it's best to head west right now, and head south when the weather is right. Then head south, and then have to head west through a front. But basically, the fronts come from west to east, and from relatively south, so right off the tip of New Zealand, and they're traveling west to east. So if you go south right now, that front is just basically going to just plow through anything in its way. I hope this isn't confusing. Whereas if I go west now, I will position myself in a good angle so that when the right weather gap is there, I can just head straight south, and it'll be a much more comfortable ride. I can go southeast if necessary because I will have done all the work now. I think it's a safe thing to do. The engine's running. You might watch this and say, "Ooh, what a beautiful sunset!" But right now, that's the last thing on my mind. These seas are so confused. I'm barely going 3 knots. Okay, I just had to share this because it just shows how frustrating this situation is. So this is Cartago right here, and I'm heading this way. So I'm heading west. And this is a friend boat right there named Laros, and he is heading basically the exact opposite direction as me. The boat's clanking around, barely moving. Like, the boat's heeling over like crazy. The waves are just bashing left and right. I'm going west, he's going east, and we need to be going south, and we just can't go south. Fun? No, not at all. Beautiful? I'll give you that. This sucks. One of the boats is headed to New Caledonia. It's the only one I've got sat phone contact with. The one with VHF is motoring south. If I lose VHF connection with him, that would just suck because I'm really on my own. I found this. So I downloaded the latest Gribs, and there's 6-meter seas with the gap Tuesday, Wednesday. I'd never get there on time. Today's Saturday morning. I'm 400 miles away. I'm 575 miles away. There's no way I'd make it there. And the gale's supposed to last for 3 days. So I found this island. It's called Norfolk Island. I was really excited, but I'm reading here on my World Cruising Destinations book. I was really excited to see it was even in here. None of these anchorages can be regarded as all-weather anchorages. Therefore, the boat should never be left unattended, and you should go ashore only in settled weather. Yachts have been lost at Norfolk Island through ignoring this warning. And this is 400 miles away. I thought this was a great option, and it's 400 miles away. Later it would be 400 miles to get to New Zealand. Oh my God, I just want to get there already. I'm really, really torn with what the hell to do. It's basically either go into a gale or go to an island with potentially poor anchorage, or go to New Caledonia, which is the complete opposite direction. This guy on the VHF, he said he'd get back to me after some of the radio nets that they have. There are a lot of boats in this situation. I know there's at least 5 boats that I've heard on the radio that are out here. So I'm definitely not alone. There's probably more. Yeah, there's no way I'm going into 6-meter seas by myself. Even without being by myself, even if I had a crew here of 5 guys that were all experienced sailors, we would definitely not go in there. So I think the island with the poor anchorage is my best bet at this point. Here's something that'll get a laugh out of Gina. Here is my delicious corned beef, eggs, and my last quarter onion. Doesn't look too appetizing, does it? Wait till I put some hot sauce on it. About 170 miles outside of Norfolk Island. It's 5 in the morning. The winds are picking up, so I'm not getting too much sleep. But it's not too bad compared to what could have been going to New Zealand. I've been checking the weather. Latest forecast says that by Wednesday, which is 2 days from now, they'll have 50 knot winds, 8 or 9 meter seas. So that's like 30 feet for us Americans. That's a lot. So I emailed Norfolk Island. It's part of Australia, and it requires a visa. Even if I'm there for a day or two, I need to get a visa, which is kind of a pain because it's the first country in, 8-9 countries that we've been to that have required a visa up front before you arrive. Otherwise, you get fined 5,000 Australian dollars, which is absurd. So a visa costs $20. Thankfully, I've got a sat phone, Here's another plus for sat phone over SSB. I was able to email my dad, and just got this great email. We can confirm your application has been successful and you now have a valid ETA. So I'm all set to legally be there. So I might even get out and walk around if the weather conditions are right. But it sure beats my plan of just kind of sneaking in and just being there for a day or two. I guess it helps to have a responsible dad. So thanks, Dad. I will do the right thing. I won't be a pirate. Arr. Alright, that was 1 year ago when I did the solo passage. The story's still not over because I'm just arriving to Norfolk Island and I still have to make it to New Zealand. Right now I am physically in New Zealand. As you can see, I'm trying to stay warm. And just like last year, I'm going to meet Gina in Bali in Indonesia. So stay tuned for her episode, for her stories. And keep following. We'll be on Instagram with our latest updates, on Facebook, and we'll keep posting videos until we get them up to date on YouTube. We are working hard. But thanks for watching, and leave some feedback. Was that too much detail? Not enough detail? Do you have any questions? Are you trying to do this yourself? Look forward to hearing from you. Yeah.